spent the majority of his youth in Iran and has a real perspective on what's happening. Admiral, first off, when you look at what we've done so far, I've talked to you along the way, Admiral. Do you feel as though this mission militarily is strong?
Without a doubt. Look at the massive targets that struck, the ability to eradicate the Air Force, take out their air defense with the last major mission, making sure they can't launch any missiles. So across the board, we've inflicted heavy pain and suffering to the regime. And that thing's only going to continue unabated once they can't launch missiles. And that's the next stage.
This phase is going after the IRGC and the Bashat. And I guess they're located in 31 separate provinces throughout Iran. What kind of bead do we have on their location? And when it comes to the Bashat, which are like the Gestapo, they dress in plain clothes, they walk the streets, they don't stay in bunk beds in barracks. How do you get them?
Well, the Basij, which is the local militias, are known by the people. So that's one thing. They know where they live, so they can't hide at the end of the day. The IRGC, which 150,000 spread throughout the country, all of those. But keep in mind, Brian, for the last 30 years, we've developed systems and processes to find, fix, and finish people. And you know those same skills will be used here to hunt down the IRGC and those Basij who have blood on their hands, have murdered the Iranian people. So we won't be doing that alone. You can count on ground support, be it the Iranian people, to weigh in and be a part of that when they know there's no ramification. So part of that eradication will come from the air, but also be on the ground as well.
The Mossad, I mean, it's so great to know this Air Force and Israel is by our side. It was great to have our NATO allies with us, but the Israelis are shoulder to shoulder with us, just as motivated with the same objectives. How much stronger does that make us?
Well, that's all our partners, especially those we share technology with, those who use our systems and all. It's a force multiplier. So when we come together, that mass and scope is only enforced, and that's needed here in Iran. So that's where it's really paid huge dividends, that investments over years. And that's the same approach we take with all our partners. How do we share our capabilities so together we're stronger than alone?
You know, the President of the United States, as I mentioned, said it's time for those merchant ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz, that, you know, we've sunk their Navy. We've eliminated almost all of their launchers. Do you agree?
Without a doubt. And look, on ships, especially ships that have our systems, have some of the best counter-UAS platforms in the world, the close-in weapon support system, the Phalanx, Vulcan Phalanx. That system has been used for 40 years, very good at handling cruise missiles, drones, counter-UAS. So having those systems on the ships that escort those things should be able to get them going readily, quickly.
What does a third carrier do for us that's coming into the Gulf?
More air power, more eyes, more capacity, and a lot more weapons. So all those things just as indicative of what we can bring to the fight alone. And then if you look with our partners, it adds to the mass. And if these Gulf countries, have they said, and we've seen all of them have come out and said, they will defend their nations. And I'm assuming that means offensive operations. So when you add that all together, that's overwhelming force that Iran's going to have to deal with.
Admiral, what could you tell us with the context you might have still maintained from your years in Iran? What's the mood? The President said stay put for now until we can continue to degrade the IRGC. What is the mood amongst the people?
I think they all see the inevitability of this. They knew these guys weren't strong. Now it's being forced in demonstrated to everyone. So I think they see the inevitable fact that this regime will be gone. And they're starting to think about what's next and how they bring that together and how they are part of it.
Lastly, when you talk about an operation that's only a week old and you see with this running to reach its goal, and that is, if you don't say regime change, this current 56-year-old leader, the son of the evil Ayatollah, is not going to fly. What's an acceptable outcome in your mind, Admiral?
Well, a government that's accepted by our government and the people of Iran. And I think they're out there. It's yet to be identified and won't be until this regime is gone. So I think that's the end state. A government we know that will represent the people of Iran, look after their interests, unlike this government, is not interested solely in exporting an Islamic revolution.
Yeah, I'll tell you, from my point of view, and you're the expert, I've never seen a military more coordinated, more focused. The execution's been flawless almost from the time the president took over, mission after mission. Does it impress a guy like you, Rear Admiral?
Hell yes. And here's why. Everyone knows this is a just cause. This is a regime that has been killing our people, attacking us for years. The fact that we have to have security on Americans in the U.S. because of Iran, that's completely unacceptable. So everyone understands what they were trying to do in their nuclear programs, what they were doing through their surrogates, what their henchmen, what they were doing building out missile inventories. And if it hadn't been stopped, there would have been a tipping point where you couldn't come after it. So I think all of those really reinforces the purpose of why our servicemen are willing to take on these risks and serve our great country. So it's really just an amazing indication of them.
Admiral, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And this is probably the only president who would have the guts to do it.